Gets open for three. Dagger!
Hello and welcome back to Well Beyond the Arc. I'm Montana, joined always by my co-host David. How you been doing, bro?
I've been good. I've been good. How are you? How you doing? How you good? You good?
Doing pretty good. Enjoying a little spring break from my job. Thank you,
Okay.
Jay. A little
Okay, we'll take that.
amazing. Amazing. I guess I also had a birthday yesterday, so there's a little
Oh,
birthday announcement being thrown up, I suppose. Thank you for that, Jay. But no, it's been good. I'm on break and I'm just hanging out, enjoying some time. But NBA basketball has been as exciting as ever, bro. It is heating up. I mean, it's been hot the whole season. Golden State Warriors for life. We're going to talk about them tonight
we
a
can't,
little
we can't,
bit.
we can't, we can't start the show that way. We can't start it. We can't
We
start
can't
very. We
say,
can't
oh,
start.
you know what? Actually, though, good, bad, and ugly is how we're starting. And I'm gonna get started. You know what? Golden State for life. My good this week was actually Curry's game against the Grizzlies. It's his fifth season with 300 threes, the most any player has ever had. He's just extending his lead, the best 3-point shooter of all time. So I jumped ahead a little bit, but the good, bad, and ugly, as we always start our show. And my good, shout out to the Warriors a little bit. We don't like to start our show with a Warriors shout out, but I'm going to because Curry had a good game. Now, he didn't have great like statistical game, but that was a huge achievement. Having a 5 seasons, 300 plus threes is huge. So shout out to that. But what is your good for this week, bro?
My good. My good. My good has to be the fact that there are so many superstars in the league. Um, we might potentially have a playoff where we might not have LeBron or Steph or KD, depending on how things go. But like, there are so many rising superstars. You have JT up in Boston. You have Jenny Brown. You have Anthony Edwards walking highlight reel. You have just guys making plays that look like they were ready to embrace being the face of the NBA. Which is a whole different conversation for another day. But like, yeah, that's my good this week. Just appreciating the stardom and rise of some of these amazing players in national basketball. Yeah, National
Yeah,
Basketball Association. Yeah, so 100%.
absolutely, bro. There's some great basketball being played right now, and some teams that I didn't expect to see in the places that they're at right now. So shout out to those players and those teams. Moving on to some less good and moving on to the bad. And unfortunately, our boys are in my bad this week. And it's not because we lost to the Hawks. Luckily, we stomped the Hawks. A little bully ball from Braun and AD. Let's go. Thank the Lord. That would have been. I might have stopped watching Lakers games if we lost to the Hawks, bro. But the Lakers are officially missing 3 players for the rest of the season due to injury. That's Gabe Vincent, that's Vanderbilt, and that is
Christian
what
Wood.
Christian Wood. Thank you, Christian Wood. I forgot who he was because he barely did anything during the season, so I kind of forgot about him. But anyways, 3 players that we will miss them. They do have an impact on our season. AD might be next. No, leave that out. Keep that energy out of here, bro. Come on now. But that's got to be my bad because the fact that we're missing those players is detrimental. Now we haven't had Vincent really at all this season. 5 games. We had I think 29 games from Vanderbilt, under 30 games from Vanderbilt, and so it's not like these players have had a huge impact, but it's still going to impact us if we don't have them come playoff time. So that's got to be my bad. But what about you, bro?
Yeah. My bad obviously has to be the Lakers, but not because they lost. No, has nothing to do with the fact that they lost. But precisely the game against the Warriors, the last 2 minutes precisely, that felt like an hour or a decade or what or a year, whatever you want to say. That felt forever. I was like, oh my god, when is this game going to end? And it did not end.
Bro, they went
And
down to the
and
stopwatch, the
I'm like,
literal
that
stopwatch.
was just bad on the that was just too bad on the NBA. Like, he put a whole I was like, I was so disgusted. I felt like I was watching freaking. Let me not call it sport right now before I'll get cancelled. But it felt really bad.
It
And
was ridiculous, bro. It was like YMCA break the stopwatches out to finish the game. Like it was ridiculous. I've never seen them break
it's just
stopwatches out,
terrible.
and it was. Bro, I'm really glad LeBron didn't get a tech for throwing the ball down. I kind of
And I
wondered
mean,
if he might, but
you can't blame him. What was it? Four
no,
times he brought the
no.
ball up 4 times and they
And
stopped it four
it's
times.
also Braun. They're not going to give him one. But I was curious because I mean, it was fresh. It was that game was
It was that
extremely
that killed the
frustrating.
momentum though, because it was
No, that
literally
it
it,
did.
it's the
Would we
game
have
could have.
won anyway?
I know I it could. I mean, if that three had counted, yes, I believed it could. but like it still killed the
Oh yeah,
momentum. Like
yeah.
going
It's the
to Reeve,
fluid at town.
yeah.
Ugh, that was rough. That was a rough one. I'm glad we didn't really go into too much prediction with that one because that
Okay,
was
you
a.
know what? We'll get into that because I did
I
say
mean, we
something.
did,
So
but
I did
it's
say
all good.
something. So.
We're gonna forget about that. We're gonna forget about any of it. We have more predictions this week, and I promise they're gonna come true. Come on now. But anyways, getting into the ugly. This one's interesting, bro. I didn't think that this would be my ugly, but my ugly has to be the Cavs head coach receiving threats from gamblers. He's
Oh,
receiving death threats. He's receiving threats about his family. They're talking about they know where he lives. They know where his kids go to school. Crazy. So obviously, sports gambling is big, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, there's a lot of different avenues. There's apps. There's the easy ways you can do it without even actually really doing it. So it's out there, and I don't think it's a bad thing. But that is crazy. That is way too far to
that
have
was
threats on your family from that. That's insane. So that's I mean, it's not like this is unheard of. There's definitely been that before, but it's just like crazy that we're seeing that now, and
a whole nother level. Yeah,
it's a whole yeah. That's taking it to a different level. So yep, that's people have money does make it worse. That's
money
very
does
true. So
make it
that's
worse.
pretty crazy, bro. That's pretty. So that's gotta be my ugly. What about you?
Yes, my ugly is not necessarily in a bad way, but like, was it? I think it was Monday, Tuesday. Dunks by Anthony Edwards and this Atlanta. That was Monday when we played
Yeah.
Atlanta. The dunk
Uh,
on Reeves and the that was terrible. And put again walking highlight reel. That was disgusting. That was
that was
ugly. That
insane.
should not be happening in the NBA.
That ant dunk that was the dunk of the year. I
Hundred
gotta say that was.
percent.
I think those were like both of the like dunks of the year
Dunks
on
of
the
the
same night.
because
Like
the
same night.
other dude jumped over Austin Reeves and I'm
Why did
like
it have to be on Reeves?
I was
That
like
was rough. That was but that was I don't know. I gotta get. I think Ant. Tell us in the comments who do you think had a better dunk if you saw it, Ant, or who was the person that had the other? Who was the player that had the other
I
dunk?
mean, let's just give it to Ando. The other dude is, I
Give it
mean,
to Ant. You think give it to
just
Ant?
give it to Ant. Like, Loki,
Michael Porter Jr. or Lamelo Ball? That's a really interesting two completely different players, but I got to give it to Lamelo Ball. Got to give it to him.
I mean, okay, that's a debate for another day. That's a debate for
Fair
another
enough.
day.
Moving on. Speaking of the Nuggets, actually, speaking of the Nuggets, speaking of Michael Porter Jr., we are going to go into our next segment, which is talking about the Western Conference, which is currently the hunt for first is separated by a game. We currently have the Nuggets, the Thunder, and the Timberwolves that look to be like the teams pulling away, looking to fight for that last spot, that top spot. And they're right there. All three teams could easily finish first in the West by the end of the season. But my question for you, David, is who do you think is going to finish first in the West when it's all said and done? Who is going to finish on top and have that first seed in the West? Because it's close right now. Those three teams are separated by not even two games. With plenty of, I think, 13 games left, 13 to 14 games left. So there's
13
plenty of
games left.
basketball left.
13 games left.
Plenty of basketball left. Who do you got, bro?
Give me the Nuggets. Just cause they have been playing playoff basketball since the All Star break. It's like something in their brain switched, and something in Jokic's brain switched, and then he sent out that text. I don't know if you heard of the text he sent out to his teammates, and then they just switched, and they have been playing like they're in the playoffs, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down. So
Dude,
give me the Nuggets, yeah.
you said it best. Playoff. They're playing playoff basketball. You could not have broken it down any better. And also, they have the easiest record out of all three of those teams. I was looking at the records, and between those three teams, the Nuggets definitely have the most manageable record. And they're by far the best team, top to bottom. The Nuggets are playing the best basketball they've played since they won the championship. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, bro. I don't want to be negative, but I don't want to catch them round one as a Lakers
No,
fan.
I low key do not want to.
I don't
No
think
one
anybody
wants
wants
to.
to catch the Nuggets in round
Nuggets,
one,
no.
especially if they finish first in the West. If they
Oh
continue
my
this
god.
momentum, that's a scary team, bro. And this is pretty much the same exact monster, that same exact beast you saw last year. A couple of different pieces, but this is still. We talked about last episode who we thought the best team in the NBA is. By far, it's the Celtics, but the Nuggets are right there.
The
The Nuggets,
Nuggets are right.
it's
I
Celtics,
mean,
Nuggets.
considering Nuggets swept the season series to the Celtics, I don't know.
Well, you know what? That's a good point, bro. That's when we talk about comparing them team by team. The Nuggets
Team
did
by
have
team,
sweep the
Nuggets are
series.
probably better, but record wise, Celtics have
That's
it.
fair. Fair.
Celtics are the first team to book the spots in the playoffs. So excuse me. So
You gotta get past. You
hundred
know what?
percent.
I would love to. I would love to catch Golden State in a play-in game. Honestly, I would love that. I would love it. See you in the playing game. I do not think. I think we're going to be the seventh or eighth seed. I do not think we're going to be the ninth or tenth seed. But I've given up the sixth seed hopes, guys. Don't worry about it. We're going
I
to
mean,
talk about who
isn't
we
that
think
what
the
we're talking
sixth
about
seed.
next? Is that our
It
next
is.
topic?
I've
Is our
given that
next
up though.
topic?
There's the Lakers. I think are going to have a strong finish, but I don't think they're going to finish sixth. I think they're going to finish seventh or eighth at this point. That's not going to be a bad place to finish. Ninth or tenth would be. I don't want them to finish ninth or tenth. I would really like to see that seventh or eighth spot if possible. And let me say why. I want us to be this. I want us to not be the eighth seed. I want us to play OKC or the Timberwolves.
OKC or Timberwolves, 100%, hundred
Sweep,
percent.
sweep. Get the
Sweep.
brooms out.
So,
Get the brooms out. Get the brooms out right now. Right now. And I will be by that time I will be back on the mainland for the summer. So I will be at if it's in Minnesota, great. If it's in OKC, great. I will be there. But we are getting the broom, bro. The brooms will be out. I promise
the
you.
brooms are
Or
coming out,
maybe
100.
5 games. 5 games, maybe 5 games.
Maybe I mean
Maybe five.
Minnesota, maybe 5 games. OKC,
Oh,
sweep,
brooms.
sweep.
Brooms
I'm sorry.
right away. Got to just call it out it is. But no, Nuggets definitely are going to be the top team. Who do you think's second and third though between the Timberwolves and Nuggets? Who do you
Uh,
think or Timberwolves and OKC? Who do you think finishes above? Because
t-
they're right
uh,
there too.
Timberwolves second, OKC third.
I'm
OKC
with you.
third.
My only concern is I think not that Rudy Gobert is the best player on the planet, but he is currently out, and I'm curious. He's been a certain factor in their success, at least on the defensive side of the ball, because that is something he is obviously able to do. His Defensive Player of the Year awards speak for that. But I gotta give I don't know. I think the Timberwolves have been extremely consistent. Rudy might be the worst trade in NBA history. I gotta agree with you on that. Not gonna lie. But at the same time, it's work. I mean, it has worked out. Was it the worst trade because the Timberwolves are now second in the West within the first 2-3 seasons of having Rudy Gobert within the first. But then again, Ant. It's Ant, bro. It's Ant and it's Cat. It's Ant and it's Cat.
Exactly. And
It's
and
Ant
guys
and
like
Cat.
guys like Nas Reed and
Yeah,
what's this vet's name? Oh, I can't remember
that
his
that's
name.
they have a really well built team. That is what I will say. Going back to the OKC, the reason that they might still finish above OKC is because they've got more vets. They've got a better vet presence in the locker room. So even without Gobert, I think it'll be close. But I do think that I like your take. I think the Timberwolves definitely might finish up on top. But the Nuggets are by far. I think the Nuggets might even pull away a couple games. Not
Yeah.
pull away, but I
Pull
think
up
they're going to
like
finish
six, at
a
least like
couple.
4 games maybe.
Yeah,
At
I
least
think
four
they will.
games.
I think they really will. And then are we looking at Nuggets Celtics NBA Finals? Possibly.
Possibly, I'll take it though.
Possibly.
I,
I'd
I'll, I'll
love that,
take
dude. I
I'll
would
take it
love
with the
that.
Celtics winning. I'll take it with the Celtics winning.
As a bro. I mean, I get
Do you know why? As a revenge, I'm not
why.
looking at I'm not I'm
Okay.
not I'm not looking at it from a
But no, then
Lakers
the
point
Celtics
of
will have more
view.
championships than us. Nah, bro.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
oh no, then what? I mean, there's so many things in play.
I know. There's
Actually,
so many
none of
pieces
them,
to this.
none of them make it. None of them make it.
How about this? Heat, Mavs. Calling it.
Hundred
Everybody
percent,
wins.
100%.
Everybody in the
Everybody
chat
wins.
agrees. Everybody
As fans will love it. As Lakers fans will love it. As
will love it.
we love it. So let's
Bucks
go.
fans, shout
We
out to you.
love
This is your
it.
first shout out of the episode. Shout out to the Bucks fans or the people that just like to defend them. Moving on. It's time to talk about the sixth seed because it's not going to be the Lakers. Let's be real. I'm being realistic. But there are
Lakers,
several teams that are currently
Lakers,
tied.
6 seed, Lakers.
Really?
Don't quote me
You
on
know what?
this, but
Are
Lakers,
you think they're like take it away? You go because I want to hear this.
Lakers. And the only thing I'll say is 13 games,
Are they 3 games
playoffs.
back or 2 games
No,
back
no.
from?
13 games, playoffs. That's it. That's all I'll
So
say.
you think
Once
they're going to go on like a 10-3 run?
watch and see.
Okay. I love your confidence. I love your confidence. I will have to say this. Between the teams that are currently tied right around 40 games, I got to give the Mavs finishing
Okay, they
sixth.
are 100% the Mavs. The Mavs.
Look,
Just
look, right before
Mavs.
yes, Ghost, yes. Wait,
Yes,
100% Mavs?
Mavs.
Come on, bro. You
No, no,
can't
no.
say that.
If we're being like right now, right? Obviously,
Oh,
right
right
now,
now.
right,
So
right
you're
now.
saying
Yeah.
okay, you're saying when we revisit this, when we look at the end of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
season,
yeah, yeah.
Lakers will go on a run. I like that. You know what?
Lakers would have been there. Lakers would have been there. But
No, I like that.
right now, we just have to the Mavs. The Suns can't do anything. The Suns can't close. Can't You know,
No,
they
Suns
don't know how
Kings
to.
are not going to do it this year. I don't think are the Kings going to be a play-in team? Absolutely. Are they going to be a dangerous play-in team? Yes, but they're not going to make a run. I don't think. But the Mavs currently are playing really good basketball. They've dropped a couple of games that they should not have dropped, but overall they're playing great basketball. So I think it's going to be the Mavs. I do really like the only runs the run to the couch and not okay. That's funny. I think here's what I'm going to say. Smoke, remember the last play-in game when we played you guys? That's all I gotta say.
That's all. That's all.
That's all I gotta say.
If you want to know, if you want to know this, if we're all speaking of facts,
Mm.
Lakers are the
Or the
third
last
best
playoff
teams.
series.
Lakers are the third best teams when it comes to a one series game. That's all I should tell you. That's all you need to know.
That is facts. That no, that
LeBron
is true.
doesn't lose a game seven
If
or
LeBron and
a
AD are
one.
both there and healthy, they're showing up.
Like just so you know. So I don't. I'm not even worried about the playing. Like forget the playing.
No. Honestly, the plan, I don't want to be like, oh, the plan would be good for us, but there's a part of me that feels like
Like
going
yeah,
through a little bit of adversity with that, having that one game, getting us locked in, especially if we don't go on the 10-3 run like we both want us to go on, because there's two ways it could go. We could go on a run, or we could be like we've been, because the whole season's just been win a couple, lose one, win a couple, lose two. It's been back and forth.
yeah.
For a back and forth season, it's been way better than any of the back and forth seasons we've had the last few seasons. Like, this beats the hell out of 2021 with Westbrook. I'm sorry, I don't like to call him that, but he was Westbrook for us. I all respect to Westbrook and good, but no, Steph is way better than LeBron. That's the two different players. But I will say, I don't know. I think the Lakers could benefit from a play-in experience, but I like your idea of of this 10-3, or at least 9-4, whatever they can, whatever they can string together, 9-5, whatever they can do. I think they could really pull it off and maybe go on a run. But they've got some matchups that are tough,
I think they have the
but every
what
team does.
the third no they have the third worst schedule left.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in front of them that have pretty. I mean, the Timberwolves have a decently, not a hard schedule, but there's a lot of teams in front of them that don't have the easiest schedule. So the Lakers very well could build up some
Just in case.
momentum, and we've seen them go on late season momentum runs and really make a push. And this is the healthiest AD has been, and this is the best the Lakers team has looked as a whole. I mean, D'Angelo Russell is kind of hot and cold, but when he's hot, dude cannot be stopped. I mean, he is the hottest 3-point shooter we have when he's hot. And so I think we could really make it happen. And I look forward to hopefully seeing that 10-3 run. But again, Mavs, I got to go with Mavs for 6 right now. Moving on to the East, we've got the 76ers, the Pacers, and the Heat that are all kind of in that same spot. But the Pacers are currently in 6th, and I have them staying in 6th. The Pacers are a team that is hot. And since they've got Siakam, he has really, really, really played really well. I think he's going to, there was a lot of talk of, is Siakam going to stay past this season? I think he is. I really think he's going to re-sign, and I think this Indiana team is going to build something possibly, because they look really, really solid. So I think the Pacers finish 6th in the East and miss that play-in. But when we look at the 76ers and the Heat, those are two teams I'm excited to see them meet in a in a single matchup if that happens. If we're looking at 7-8 and we're looking at Heat and we're looking at 76ers and Embiid is back, I'm excited for that game. So I got to go with Pacers. But what about you when we look at the East for 6th?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do agree with you. Um, Without Embiid, I mean, I just see, and yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything. That's 100%. I'm not even worried about Miami because Miami always finds a way. Like it's just how they are. They always find a way. Like they are. It's like that's how they are made. So like I'm not worried about Miami, but yeah, Sixers we might have a player without Embiid, which is just kind of takes the argument away from him, more and more. So yeah,
True.
I 100% agree with you. I won't even change anything. Pacers, Pacers have had a season. I mean, even though they played Lakers twice in the coming weeks, but like they've had one hell of a season. Tyrese is having an all-star caliber season, which obviously was shown in the fact that he was an all-star. So can't complain, You know.
No, they're playing great basketball. Do you think that they're going to go deep in the playoffs, or do you think they'll be an early exit? Because, like you said, they have a lot of momentum, but they don't have a lot of playoff experience with that team. as that team is now. The Pacers, as an organization, have had a pretty rich playoff history, but this team has not had a playoff history together. And also, they're a decently young team. They don't have a lot of, they have some vets, they have some
Yeah.
leadership, but there's a lot of growing I think this team has to do. I think Siakam is one of the vets I would consider one of those leaders, one of the older, at least more star caliber players in that locker room, one of those voices. And we've seen a big difference. But do you think that's enough for them to go on at least past the first round?
They'll end up probably playing either the Bucks or the Cavs, and
Ooh,
I don't see
Cavs.
them. I don't see them beating the Bucks.
No, me neither.
The new look Bucks. I don't see it happening.
Mm-mm.
The Cavs, maybe in a parallel universe, maybe, but uh, it might
It'd
it
be
might go to
close.
it
I
might
think
go
it'd
to
go to
game 7 though.
6 or 7.
It might go
Yeah.
to game 7,
Hmm.
but like Cavs would probably pull out just because it's
Agreed. Not the
Cavs.
Bucks. Definitely not
Not the
the
Bucks.
Bucks
The Bucks
though.
Bucks will probably sweep them in five. Not sweep obviously, but play the
The
game in
best team in
five.
the NBA. Are you kidding me? Of course they will.
What's exactly so like?
No, but I do
Okay.
think the Bucks. I do think the Bucks would definitely wipe the floor with the Pacers.
Yeah,
Cavs game 7 though, game 6 or game 7, I think. But I do think the Cavs would still pull it off. But who knows, man? I Here's the thing:
it's the
the East is
playoffs.
exciting. The East is exciting, but the West is really stressful because I really, 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 I either want the Lakers in that 7th or 6th or 7th seed. So
Yeah.
I'm more enjoying watching the East right now because I'm not as stressed out. But the playoffs are approaching, and it is going to be super, super exciting. Um, I can't wait, bro. It's going to be awesome. But we have a little bit more regular season basketball left, and we have a pretty exciting double slate on Friday. 2 games. We've got Lakers versus 76ers and Warriors versus Pacers. We're going to start with Lakers versus 76ers. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. The Lakers outshine an Embiidless mostly role player led 76ers team. I've got the Lakers winning by 15 plus points. Maybe it'll be just 15, but I think they'll win 15 plus points because the 76ers are not a team that is going to be able to pull it off. If everyone now is everyone healthy for the Lakers? No, but if Anthony Davis and LeBron are both playing and we see them show up and we see D'Angelo Russell show up and we see that team really do it. I mean, the Hawks are definitely, in my personal opinion, not as good as the 76ers,
So,
even
so,
without Embiid. I still think the 76ers are a better team than the Hawks overall, even without Embiid, top to bottom. But I still think the Lakers are going to not dog walk the 76ers, but beat them by 15 plus points. I just think that without Embiid, who's going to stop AD? That's the biggest thing. Every time we talk about this, if AD plays, who's going to stop AD? That's if Embiid is not in there, who's going to stop him? So give me the Lakers by 15 plus points on Friday. What about you, bro?
yeah, in between, what's that? I was lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, I was going to say Lakers too, but hmm, I was going to say something, but then I forgot. I mean, I did say the Lakers would beat the Sixers last week, right? I said it. I was like, I forgot they played the Atlanta Hawks. But 100%, even like Sixers are good, but like you know, they just don't have Embiid, and I don't see anyone that will stop AD, and that's the only problem that AD has when we played Sixers. Freaking Embiid.
It's a big problem
Oh, now I remember, yeah. But obviously, it's good to hear that Embiid is back in practice and he's getting some ball work on the court. So that's good to hear. That's where I was going. That was my train of thought. So yeah, but Lakers, 100%. I'll even give it a score. I'll just be like Lakers. Let's just put it there.
for sure. I think it'll be a good game, but I do think that the Lakers will pull away and have a pretty sizable win. Warriors
Yeah.
versus Pacers. Here's what I'm going to say. I think this is going to be a really, really close game.
Oof.
I'm going to
Oof.
give it to the Pacers
Ooh.
because I think Pascal Siakam has been having a really good string of games the last like 4 to 5 games. He's been really consistent. He's consistently been the Pacers' leading scorer, and they have not won all 4 or 5 of those games, but within those games, we've seen him get his rhythm. So I've got to give it to the Pacers, but I think it's going to be a really close game that is either finished down to the wire in regulation or it's going to go into OT. So I've got to give it to the Pacers, but shout out to the Warriors. Listen, I think at one point during this show, at least I said this. I'm not going to pin this on you, bro, because I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But I said the Warriors were not going to make the play-in. they're making the plan. The Rockets are not making the plan. The Warriors are making the plan. I don't have them beating the Pacers though. I do have them finishing the season with decent. They're not going to finish losing like 10 plus games, but they're not going to beat the Pacers. This is going to be one L that they pick up. So give me the Pacers winning in a close game. But like I said, Siakam has been playing really consistent and he's too much to handle. Name one Warrior that can stop Siakam because I really don't think there is one that can really slow him down. Could they double? Could they figure something out? Yes, but that leaves other dangerous weapons that the Pacers have open and ready to have really nice shots because the Pacers are a team that can shoot from anywhere. The
Yeah.
Pacers have, they're one of the most offensively talented teams in the NBA this season, consistently throughout the whole year. So give me the Pacers, but I do think it'll be a good game. What about you, bro? Do you think the Warriors can pull it off?
I'm going to say I'll 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 watch that game as a fan. I won't say anything. I'm not going to say who will win. I just want to allow me to watch that game as a fan. Um, but look, I think the Warriors will win. Oh no,
Okay.
the Pacers, low key, the Pacers. But I'm going to watch it as a fan. As a fan.
Mhm.
I meant the Pacers, sorry, my bad. The Pacers will win.
No, you said Warriors.
I
It's
said the
okay.
Pacers.
Okay, Draymond Green is gonna have quadruple double.
Quadruple double. Of course he will.
You
Ah,
already
of
know,
course he
bro.
will. Of course he
It's
will.
gonna be crazy.
Oh my god. Nah. The
But
Pacers. The
no,
Pacers.
Pacers
Yeah.
Pacers look good. Pacers and the Warriors also don't look. I mean, let's be honest. They just beat the Grizzlies last night. It's not like they played the Nuggets and won, but they still look pretty decent and they could have easily dropped that game. So shout out to the
Yeah.
Warriors and we'll see where they end up. I think they'll finish 10th in the West. I think that's where they're gonna maybe ninth, possibly, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Maybe just
I'm
it's
not
like it's
confident in ninth. No way in hell eighth. No way.
uh
No
nowhere
way.
nowhere near eight. Yeah.
No way. They're
That's
not
that's
sniffing eighth.
that sounds about right. Yeah. I don't Warriors are but you know what? The Kuminga, Jonathan Kuminga, he's playing good
Fair.
basketball though.
He is. That is a good point. Kaminga is playing basketball that if it was consistent enough and if he'd been playing it long enough, then I would be on board with saying that he would be able to hold the fort down. But I just think they need more depth behind that position and behind they just need more size. They need more depth.
Size,
They
yeah.
don't have any size. They have no size. And it's they're still playing decent basketball without it. And they're not really playing small ball per se, but they're just not playing big basketball. And the West has gotten big. The
Big.
West has gotten
Exactly.
pretty
Yeah.
big.
Every team is looking big.
Like,
OKC. Oh my god.
like
Oh my god. No. No.
oh, Smoke, thank you. You're providing the best comments of the day. Lots of laughs for us. Thank you for talking about because here's the thing, we're not even going to play the Warriors. They're going to be 10th. They're going to lose to the Kings that are going to be ninth and they're going to go home. That's going to be the end of the season. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying right
Kings.
now.
Kings will get their revenge. Kings will get their
Exactly.
well-deserved
Single
revenge.
game revenge. Perfect. Malik Monk is going to drop a 30 piece. Calling it right now. Someone has to. We are keeping it. We both are. We're keeping it real every episode. Speaking of keeping it real, we're gonna move it on to our next segment, which is talking about Kevin Durant. No, we're not talking about is Kevin Durant the goat. I think that was a
That's
shock. That was a
hysterical.
shock. That was a shock
That's
title, guys. Don't worry.
hysterical.
We never thought he was the goat. It was just a shock title. But shout out to Kevin Durant because he did just
Clickbait.
pass Shaquille O'Neal on the all-time scoring list, and he is now currently number 8 all-time, the only current player other than obviously LeBron that is in that top 10. Carmelo Anthony is 10th, but as we know, he is officially retired. So shout out to Kevin Durant for being the only current player in that top 10 with LeBron James. My question to you, though, is how much higher do you think Kevin Durant will go? Where do you think Kevin Durant will finish in the all time scoring list? And do you think he'll win any more accolades at all, whether that's a championship or an MVP or just anything else? Like, what's on the table for Kevin Durant? Where do you think he ends up on this list and overall?
Mm, that's a good question. But first and foremost, shout out to the big man up there, KD, Kevin Durant. Obviously, passing Shaq isn't any small feat. To score 28,000 points in the NBA is not small feat. Um, and obviously we know him as a first score first type of guy. So um yeah, congrats to KD. But with that being said, with that being said, I'm sorry, let me just pull up something. All time Dennis. Okay, here we go. Um, Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so with that being said, do I see him going above? Who is he behind right now?
He is behind
Uh
Wilt Chamberlain.
okay, he's behind with Chamberlain with about 3,000, maybe 2,000 points. Maybe, maybe he can. Maybe depending on how far his career goes, and then after him, maybe he can pass Dirk. Yeah, I see stopping at maybe Michael, and that's no disrespect to Michael, but like I do see it stopping at Michael, depending on how good his career goes from now to, well, he's what 33, 35. What's he at? What's he 35?
He's
Um,
getting up there. He's definitely in his
yeah,
mid
so
30s now.
definitely. It but then championships. No, no. I do not. Yeah, he's 35 right now. So championships, no. On the Phoenix Suns, no. Um, MVPs, no. He's won what, one, two. I can't remember how many he's won. He's a two-time final champion, two-time final MVP, two-time champion. Obviously MVP, scoring leader. Um, uh, s- Probably will finish sixth on the all-time scoring list. That's one hell of a career, you know. And there's not no knock on him. It's just that's where it would be. He's at that stage where at this point now he's just playing to leave a mark on the game. You know, he's won everything. He's done everything. Amazing run for a career, and we leave it there. We leave it there.
Um, sorry, pull that last comment up. I just I don't even get it. You know what?
Who is sexy red?
Um, sexy red fans. Sexy red fan. Okay, well here's the thing. Kevin Durant finishes sixth. Totally agree with you. I think he passes Wilt not with ease, but decently easily. I think he'll get there pretty quick.
I mean he needs like 3 more seasons. He needs at least 3 seasons averaging 1,000 points. And probably yeah.
And then I think he'll pass Dirk pretty quickly within that same time because Dirk is just right above
Yeah.
Wilt. So he's going to retire being sixth. I think he's going to retire, and that's going to be his accolade. The only accolade that Kevin Durant is going to win in the next however many seasons he plays is finishing sixth. And that's not really winning anything, but that is obviously really impressive. And when we look down the list of other players, the closest player is James Harden at 20th, and there is no way he is going to break into the top 10. So you are looking at the only current other top 10 player other than LeBron James. And that's huge. That's really,
That's
really
huge.
big. And that's a
Exactly.
huge accolade in and of itself. So you've got to give him some credit. And here's what I'm going to say. He is not healthy enough to have an MVP season. He is not, I think, sought after enough as a player anymore to go to a team that is going to have a title shot. I don't think any team that is a contender is going to go after Kevin Durant at this point. Could he go to a team and they could possibly build a team around him and he could be a role player and come off the bench or put up some points and be a little maybe, but I don't see that happening. What I see happen is he stays with the Suns, has a couple of successful playoff runs, and then I see him going to either an expansion team if there's an expansion team in Seattle or Las Vegas, or I see him going back to OKC and having like a goodbye farewell season, and I see him passing Dirk when he's there and finishing up like that. So I think it's going to be a storybook ending, but I
That's a
just
fairy
don't
tale
think
ending. Yeah.
yeah, it is, and you know, it'd be even cooler if he finished up in Seattle. Honestly, that would be. I could see him going into coaching or owning that something with the team once he's done like I can just see something like that. So shout out to Kevin Durant. He's obviously passing Shaquille O'Neal is huge,
It's
and just
huge.
being in that top 10 is huge. Like I said, James Harden is the only other player that's even kind of in that area, in that realm, and he's not going to break into the top 20. Russell Westbrook also is a player up there. Steph Curry is 30th. Could Curry finish up there a little bit? Possibly, but as much as Curry is known for threes, you're not seeing him averaging, 35, 36 plus points a season in and season out. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't know where he'll finish up, but he'll probably finish up higher than Russell Westbrook and a couple of those other players for sure. But shout out to Kevin Durant, and we'll see where he ends up. But we are going to move on
Hmm.
into a new segment we're doing, a
Hmm.
little debate segment. And here's what we want to do in this segment. Anyone that's watching the show, feel free to comment, choose a side. If we agree on it, great. If we don't, choose a side, because not every episode, but some episodes we're going to do a player versus player where we talk about two players. There might be current versus current, legend versus legend, legend versus current, and we debate. Usually it's going to be players with either similar positions or players that are debated very popular in the media. We're starting out with a really exciting one. This is one that I love to do. I made a YouTube video on this like 6 years ago, and I never posted it. So, and I will say this: since then, my opinion has changed. I'm not going to go into what my old opinion was, but my opinion on this topic has changed a little bit since I made that video 6 years ago. But our first player versus player segment is Dennis Rodman versus Draymond Green. I say that because these are two players that are compared to each other very often. Are they the same exact player? No, but they have a lot of tendencies with their, potentially you could say, their aggressive on court behavior or some of the way they play basketball. There's a lot of tendencies and similarities between them. And so the question is, who is the better player? Is it Dennis Rodman or is it Draymond Green? I'm going to let you take it away. And this is a really interesting, again, they're not the same exact player, but there's a lot of similarities to go off of. And these are two players that have been on the dynasty teams, that have been all stars, that have been defensive players of the year. I mean, these are players that have racked up the accolades. Who's better? Tell us in the comments who you think.
Okay. 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 Green. Draymond Green. Do I have to defend myself? Maybe. Will I change my opinion? Never. Is he better? 100%. Okay. So why is he better? Actually, why is he better?
You know what? Guess what?
You agree? Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Okay.
I do agree.
But
I'm with
obviously,
you on this.
yeah, obviously, I do know why he's better. Obviously, his IQ is better. I think the only thing Rodman has over Green is rebounding. But in terms of team play, in terms of shooting, in terms of passing the ball, in terms of IQ, in terms of putting his players in the right spaces, like people don't get it. I'm just going to say this, but shout out to LeBron's podcast, LeBron and JJ. I don't know if you have heard it. Like shout out to that. That give you the in and out of basketball. People don't get what it takes to put people in places when playing basketball to be able to make good shots. That's what Draymond Green does. He does it on the court. Rodman was crazy. Don't get me wrong. Rodman was probably the one of the, if I don't think without Rodman, I don't think they would have won those six they got. But like because his rebounding was very essential, and obviously the catching the alleys and all that good stuff, obviously. But Green, I think one thing that sets him out above all other players, and people actually disrespect it, is the fact that he knows where to put people, his teammates at. If you are watching him, he's always telling Clay is obviously, I don't know. I don't. That's probably a debate for another. Clay is probably better player, but like he's always telling Clay where to go, when to cut, when to do this. Kuminga, where to go, where to defend. Like and the only two, very few people I can think of that actually know how to do that very well. You think of LeBron, you think of CP3, you think of Magic Johnson, right? Those are the guys that you think of that put players where they are meant to be. And Draymond is up there, echelon of basketball
Luca,
IQ.
MVP.
No, no, Luca doesn't do it.
You don't think Luka
I don't think Luca does it.
averaging almost a triple double? He doesn't do it.
That doesn't. Nah, that doesn't. That's there's a difference in getting the assist, right? There's a difference. What I'm saying is, it's not necessarily him getting the assist. It's just being able to tell them where to be at the right time, right? He knows the plays in the head. He knows
Oh, you're
everything.
saying the IQ. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
I mean, it's part of the IQ. The IQ has so many things
I get
involved
you.
in
Yeah,
it,
I get you.
but like,
I,
you
s-
get what I mean.
I still think Luka's on the list, but you know what? It's okay. I
No,
get
no,
what
no.
you're saying.
Obviously, maybe in terms of basketball IQ, maybe I'm just saying. I just think he's a really good shooter, passer, and
Yeah.
yeah, So
I like what you said about him putting. So yeah, Draymond Green is a far better player than Dennis Rodman overall. Every point you made is perfect. The only thing that Dennis Rodman had is rebounding, but that's because Dennis Rodman has that on almost any other player in the history of basketball. Dude was grabbing 18 plus rebounds sometimes a game, and this wasn't 1960, 19. I mean, this was the 90s. This was even the early 2000s when he wasn't even averaging any points. He was averaging 10 plus rebounds in the few games he played. This dude was crazy. Draymond Green, his IQ and what he does for the Warriors is insane. What he has done at the same time because of his impact when he's punched Jordan, when he's done things that have been detrimental to the team, they've been even more detrimental because of who he is to that team. When he's got suspended during the playoffs, when he's been out for a game, there are things his presence is missed when he's not on the court. Yes, Steph is great. Yes, Clay is great. But Draymond Green has been one of the driving factors in their playoff success. And when we talk about the debate, if there's any way to put the debate of Draymond Green and Dennis Rodman to rest overall, it's look at their playoff stats. Draymond Green averaging 11.6 points a game to Dennis Rodman's 6.4 points a game. And then we talk about rebounds, correct? Rebounds is what Dennis Rodman is best known for. Draymond Green, 8.9 rebounds to Dennis Rodman's 9.9. So the thing that Dennis Rodman is great at, and the only statistic that he is ahead of Draymond Green is in rebounds, and Dennis and in the during the playoffs, Draymond Green is extremely aggressive with boards. It's not like he isn't the whole season, but you see Draymond Green come alive with rebounds during the playoffs, and there's a little bit of extra aggressiveness, and that's gotten him in trouble. We have seen his aggressiveness and his extra drive during the playoffs get him in trouble. But like I said, Draymond Green is leading every single playoff statistic and every single regular season statistic except for rebounds. That is the only statistic he does not lead him in. Now, championships, obviously, Dennis Rodman does have him in championships, but Draymond Green isn't done yet. Is he going to
mm-hmm.
win any more with the Warriors? I don't think so, but I think he's going to go to a team and be a role player and win one.
Sorry to Warrior fans. That's just the truth. Like, just you're not
I think
winning
it's going to
anything
be the
with them. So
Bucks or the Lakers or the 70s. There's going to be a team that I think he's going to go to a team and be a role player and win another chip, and then he would be up there with Rodman. But then again, another thing Rodman had on him was um, I, I
I mean, he
guess
did have Michael Jordan, so that kind of cancels out everything. So
I mean, fair enough.
you
I will
can't
say,
compare Michael Jordan and Steph Curry. So it's kind of
fair enough. I will say this: Dennis Rodman, obviously one of the best rebounders of all time, if not the best rebounder of all time. If he had any other statistic over Draymond Green, I might have him ahead of him. But because Draymond Green is the better player overall and his impact on the Warriors has been more monumental top to bottom offensively and defensively than Dennis Rodman's was. I've got to give it to Draymond Green. Now, spoiler alert, we're not always going to agree. There's going to be times when we don't, but this was a really
100%.
easy one to agree on. I think. I don't think this was even one. And I think in the comments I saw some Dennis Rodman support and some going. But again, at the end of the day, when you look at the statistics and when you also look at the accolades, they're right there together in accolades. And Pistons Rodman was. I will say I like that Pistons Rodman was definitely different. Pistons Rodman was a different animal. That was I will say as a top to bottom player, Pistons Rodman was Dennis Rodman at his best. I think that the Bulls, especially now the Spurs, like that was a short stint. The
I
Mavs,
mean,
we're
I
not even
mean,
gonna count that.
yeah, the Bulls. He had to kind of take a
He had a role.
lesser
He
role.
had a different position.
Exactly. He
With the
just had to
Pistons,
be
that
there
was
for Michael. That's all he had to
it,
do.
it was a way different. But yes, Pistons. Dennis Rodman was a different animal as an entire player. But when we look at Draymond Green as a whole career, he's been on the Warriors. He's been on one team and had that impact the whole. Now, again, in the early days where they're winning the games they are now, absolutely not. But he's had that same aggressive and that same IQ and that same impact the entire time. So definitely shout out to Draymond Green, but also shout out to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is one of the wildest players of all time, one of the craziest stories. And despite all of that, one of the best players of all time. So shout out to Dennis Rodman. I recommend he has a 30 for 30. I recommend checking that out. It's a really good documentary. Super,
Yeah.
super goes super in depth on him, and it's really, really interesting. But shout out to Dennis Rodman. If there is any debate you guys want on our next player versus player, please let us know in the comments after the video is done being live, during the live, whenever. Let us know. We want to show you guys what you want to see. But we are about to finish our show with a segment that could make some people mad. Luckily, I don't think my list will make any people on the show mad right now, but I don't know. Finishing our
I
show with
looked. You know what? I looked at your list and you're number two. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but like we'll talk about it for a minute.
we'll go into it because I will say this was a tough list to make, but number two, ooh, Reggie Miller versus Ray Allen. I like that one. I like that one a
Okay.
lot. We might, you know what,
We might be
that might be
there.
the
We might
next
be
one.
there. Thank you though, Ryan. Thank you. Shout out to you,
Ryan, I'm putting
Ryan.
that in my
Wherever you
notes
are,
right now.
Ryan. Wherever you are, shout out to you. You're a good head. A good head. You know,
I'm putting it in my notes right now because I will forget if I don't. But yep, boom, putting in the notes. We're gonna do that one. That's a good one.
Reggie
That's
Miller,
a
Ray.
great one, actually.
I might actually
That's a
have to do
really good
some
one.
research for that one, but like,
I'm so excited for that one. Keep them, Ed. Keep them coming, guys. Really, we will add them in, add them on the list. Anyways, top of the hour
wait,
five.
before we go, actually, who's
Yeah.
better though? Who do you have better?
Who do I have better?
Yeah.
You want me to spoil it right now?
No, I mean, let's just. Okay, we got.
Let's do it. You know, let's do it right now. Okay.
No. After the show,
Huh?
after the show,
Oh,
after the
after
show.
okay.
They don't have to hear it.
After
They
the
don't
show.
have to hear it. They don't have to
After
hear
the
it.
show.
Yeah.
Okay. After the show. Top of the hour five.
Top of the five, yes, sir.
Top five
I like this one. This is different. I like
overrated
it.
players in the NBA. We could do top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40, top 80.
There are too many overrated, too many hyped players, to be honest.
Too
Too
many.
overhyped.
But we could only pick five. So, getting the list started. David, who is your number five for top five overrated?
Oof. Ooh. I am, I am going to say, I am going to say, Jordan Poole. Going to say Jordan Poole. Give me Jordan Poole. I mean, he's a good player. He's nice. He's just overhyped. Like, why are we hyping him like too much? Like, come on. We don't need that. Like, he's okay. Like, I think that's the problem. That's where it's messed up. That's where, other than obviously his side of it, where he, asking for big contract and stuff, we put too much pressure on him. Like, he caused his fall, but the hype on him was just, everyone was like, oh my god, Korea's, okay, But yeah, Jordan Poole, give me Jordan Poole.
Fair. Fair. That's a good pick. My number five, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert is there,
Here's what I
he's
will
there.
say. He is playing better basketball this season than he did last season. He's a more complete player for the Timberwolves. But that trade, at the end of the day, it looks pretty decent right now. But I just don't think at the end of the day it was fully worth it. And I think that Rudy Gobert is not the same player he was defensively when he played for Utah. I think we're seeing him slow down a little bit. And so at the end of the day, that trade might favor the other team in the long run. But either way, I think he's overrated. I think he's been overrated. This isn't even just because of this season. I think Rudy Gobert is one of the most overrated players in the last 5, 6, 7 years as a whole. So if anything, he's on my list for more than just this season. He actually is producing decent numbers and playing decent basketball, but still we see him go in and out with injury, and we see him still be a little inconsistent. And I just think he's overrated as a whole. So Rudy Gobert is my number five, but again, he has produced decent statistics, and the Timberwolves do look like a better team with him. So shout out to that, but I still think he's overrated as a whole. Moving on, number four, who do you got, bro?
DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton. It's just they make it seem like, oh, if he starts playing well, the Blazers will win every playoff series in entire. Bro, give me a break. This dude cannot do nothing. Like he's way better than me in basketball, but like he's just too overhyped. It's that simple. I'm
Agreed.
sorry.
No,
I
that's a
don't. I
good.
don't have to say too much.
He is extremely overhyped, and the Suns are so much better since he's gone. And that's not saying he's like a bad player, he's like a locker room problem, but I do think the Suns are a better player overall. He was not benefiting them as much as a player of that salary and that player should. So that was not that was not a good setup, and he's not the player, whether he's on the court or off the court, they're not winning games. So that's
Yeah.
just the reality of that. My number four, you already said the dude, Jordan Poole. I honestly thought that him leaving the Warriors, he was going to go to Washington and have a James Harden type of breakout. But I think that a couple of different things would have had to have happened for that. Were the Rockets the best team when James Harden got there? No, but I mean, Washington is one of they are the worst team currently in the East. I also think that what makes Jordan Poole great was when he was coming off of the bench, when he had less minutes,
Yeah.
when he was not a
Yeah.
spark plug player, but more of a spark plug player. He'll come off the bench, he'll hit that three, he'll hit a tough layup, he'll hit another. I mean, that's who he was for the Warriors. He was a tough player that could come in and make stuff happen quickly. And so I think that we're seeing more minutes and a lesser, I mean, Washington is the worst team. So we're seeing all of that compile, and he's just overhyped. I overhyped him, honestly. I thought he was going to be more hyped than he is, but maybe he'll figure it out, but I just don't think it's going to be with that Washington team. I would love to see him back on a contender as a role player, because I think he would make a really solid role player for a contending team, and that Washington team is not contending within the next few seasons. So got to be Jordan Poole is my number four. But again, he was a really solid player for the Warriors, and he did make a lot of stuff happen for them when they needed it. So shout out to him for that. But overhyped at the moment. Moving into our top three, these are the most overhyped of the most overhyped. Who is your number three, bro?
This might sound weird, but this dude in the net, he doesn't start. What's his name? Is it uh this their sixth man? Why am I blanking out right now? Nets. Is it not Nick Claxton? The other one.
It's not Johnson, is it?
No.
Because that's not.
No. Ooh. 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 Not Cameron Johnson. No. Cam Thomas.
There we go.
That's what I was looking for.
Wow, Cam Thomas,
Cam
really?
Thomas. Yeah.
What do you think's overrated about him?
I just think like he's not even a starter though. Like look at it. Like look at how like there's a difference between being underrated, right? And not even being like being rated, being underrated, and being overrated. I think they take it to the next level with him. Like he doesn't even start. Yeah, he comes off the bench once or twice a game. Like he has one of those monster games where he drops like freaking 40 on your head, and you're like, okay. But like other than that, no, he's not even consistent. But like everyone makes it like he's
Consistency. That's
like I'm like okay, and I'm like it is what it is, I guess. He's an amazing basketball player, but he just you just hype him for no reason. Excuse me.
consistency. When you dude, that's the thing. I think a big thing, and a player, you asked me, you said you didn't understand why a certain player was on my list.
Yeah.
Consistency is why, bro. So that's a huge thing with overhyped players. That's with Rudy Gobert. That's another. I'm going back to him. He is not super consistent with his statistics. So consistency. So I really, once you made that point, that does make sense, because he does have big nights, but they're not consistent. So that is a really good point. And the Nets are definitely not a team that's in the mix at all. So obviously, it's not making too big of a difference. Jason Tatum is overrated. I don't think
Jason,
Jason Tatum is overrated. I have not ever. I don't know. I've
that's a
never heard
good one
Jason
though.
Tatum. I've
That's
never
a good
heard
one.
him. You think you've heard
No,
him? I've
I'm not
never
saying
heard
he is.
him.
No, I'm not
Have
saying
you
he
heard
is.
him
I'm just saying
compared to the goats before though? I've never heard him
no.
compared to the
It's
goats.
just
Is the
you
only
see,
thing.
the thing with Jason Tatum is he's won so much, but people forget he's just 25. He's been to a finals. He's been to conference finals multiple times. So everyone's like, okay, now you need to get your chip. So like, it's like everyone is just waiting for it to like get over that hump. So that's where Jason. That's where probably where people might look at the hype, and obviously
That's fair.
the fact that he what they call it the fact that he slept in the game against the Warriors, the finals against the Warriors, where he just disappeared. There was an APB out for him. The cops were trying to look for him because he just disappeared in the finals against the Warriors. That's where people have him. But people forget he's just 25. These dudes didn't win their first championship till he was 28. So I don't think it's fair to put him there. I still think he still has a lot to go and he will definitely get there. So don't worry about it, you know.
I will say this. I take back what I said. I saw someone in the comments say that Perk compared him to Kobe, and I did not see that, but I have actually seen comparisons to Kobe, and that is ridiculous. So I do
But you know what?
agree.
I don't think he's like in a who's the better player. I think it's just in their style of game because he does mass. What's the word I'm looking for? He does pattern his game after Kobe. You know what I mean?
He does have similarities. I think that putting him up. I think what people get upset about is putting him up there with a player like Kobe, and also Kobe was winning chips and was getting it done a little bit differently as a whole. But at the same time, Jason Tatum still could rack the chips up. Jason Tatum could still end up there accolades wise, and I think he is one of the better players. But that is a good comparison. And yeah, that some of those comparisons are a little out there for sure, but that's just how that goes. My number three,
Okay, now that comment
Andrew
is just
Wiggins.
foul. Number three. Okay.
Andrew Wiggins, consistency. That would probably be actually my number three and my number two because they're not consistent have to be why they're on this list. Andrew Wiggins is not consistent, and also the Warriors are like, did they take a gamble on him? No, but they really bought into him thinking that he was this player that helped them win a chip. Like he's going to be a player that's going to help us with this dynasty and continue this. And that's just not what is happening. Shout out to him. I hope I mean, he's obviously missed time both in 2 seasons for mental health, personal reasons. And that's really tough. I don't want to talk on that disrespectfully. But at the same time, when you're missing games and you're not consistent, and you have injury history, and you also, when you're on the court, you're not always being the most consistent, taking the best looks, that's an overrated player. So I've got to go with Andrew Wiggins. But again, the consistency and the lack of there's some pretty low lackluster games from Andrew Wiggins, especially this season. So I've got to go with that's why he's on my list. But again, shout out to him because the mental health stuff is no joke, and that's a whole different factor in that missing
Yeah.
games at least. But still not consistent. We're getting into the most overrated of the most overrated, bro. Who is your number
Number
two?
two. Yusuf Nurkic. I don't get the hype. Like everyone make him to be this amazing center that can pass the ball and like can do stuff. Like no, he's not. He's absolutely bizarre. Like I'm sorry. Like no, that's all I'm going to say. It's just there's no hype around. He's not going to carry Phoenix to a championship. Like obviously there's the big three, but like he's not that piece. He's not that dude. He's not him. Like I don't know why. Like it pains my heart when they talk about like it pains me like they talk about him like he's freaking Christoph Porzingis in Celtics. Like it feels like they put two of them on the same pedestal. If you get what I mean, I'm like that's just no. But anyways, I'll rant on that. So let's leave it there.
Ryan, I think you're going to agree with me for possibly the first time ever because my number two is James Harden. And James Harden, here's what I'm going to say. James Harden, the Clippers have looked like a better team since they got James Harden, but that is not because of James Harden solely, and that is not because of James Harden being the leading piece in that. You'll see James Harden have a game where he scores 18 plus, and then you'll see him have a game where he scores like 8 to 9 points and is playing terribly. That is what we have seen from Harden the last couple of seasons. Honestly, since he left
Yes, was
Houston,
it was it yesterday? He tried to block his
he
own
blocked Kawhi's
block
shot.
Kawhi's
Yeah, he
shot just
blocked
for trolls.
Kawhi's shot.
That was disrespectful to the Blazers, but like come on,
He is
that was
not.
funny
He is
though.
ridiculous. He no.
Oh
He
god.
and he's not consistent. So yeah, I've got. He's my number two. Now James Harden from his MVP seasons, not overrated. That dude was scoring 30 plus points like it was nothing. That dude was going on insane scoring runs that we hadn't seen for a while. So shout out to old James Harden, but the James Harden now, in my personal opinion, is extremely overrated. But did I ask you number two yet?
Yeah.
Man, all right, I'm blanking. I'm blanking. You know why
Did I
I'm
say
blanking?
I
Because I
said I said
hate.
Yusuf I said
Oh
Yusuf
yeah, you said
Nurkic,
Nurkic.
yeah.
That's right. You know why I'm blanking though? Because I just hate the person that's number one so much, bro. That's why my mind's in a blank. But let me ask you though, who's your number one most overrated player in
I
the
mean,
NBA?
I'm going to say this before you go on, but like you can't what's the word? You can't he can't be overrated if he isn't hype. You know what I mean? Like no one who talks about him now. No one talks about him. You know what I mean? But that's a nice pick though, and you're going to be surprised by my number one, and 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 this is just cause this season he's still electric, he's still a walking highlight reel, but he needs to get back on the page. Jamorant.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one, bro.
Everyone was like, "Oh, when he comes back, he's going to help the Grizzlies. You know, do this, do that." Yeah, he's an all star. You know, he's good. He's still electric. He's amazing. Should be next face of the NBA, but he needs to get his shit together. You know, this season has been a downfall, and I'm for this one. I'm basing it just on this season, just cause I feel like he really was overhyped and underperformed, and mainly due to his fault, but obviously health issues had to um you know
Yeah, okay, come on now. We're not gonna be crazy like that. Or at least David's not. Maybe I would. I don't think David would go there. I don't think I would either, though. That's crazy.
why
Giannis,
what
of all players, bro. Giannis,
yeah, but I feel this season was
that's a
just
good pick.
overhyped, so
That's a really good pick. And I was one of the people that said that he was gonna help, and I truly thought he was, but that Grizzlies team is still losing games like they were without him. And even when he's in out, it doesn't it's just been really inconsistent. My number one, Dylan Brooks. I don't think there's a lot of hype around him, but the fact that the Houston Rockets picked him up like they did, and I think thought that this was going to be a team that might, you know,
yeah.
figure it out, and he might be a player that would help boost that. He's just really overrated. One of the most annoying players, obnoxious players in the NBA, and he was ranked among NBA players, like the list that NBA players give out, they ranked him the most overrated player going into this season. And so far, he's shown that that's true because he hasn't done anything this season. Super inconsistent and extremely. I mean, I kind of wish we could meet them in the playoffs again because that was fun to see the Lakers bully the Grizzlies when they had Dylan Brooks. But it's not fun when he's not there, so it's okay. We won't see Dylan Brooks or the Grizzlies in the playoffs, so it's a sad day, but it's okay. Maybe next season, right? But
Nah.
anyways, yeah, I know, right? Probably not. As always, guys, this has been an amazing show. Thank you guys so much. Um, this is not the only place where you can find David. Let us know where else you can find, where else our guests or our fans can find you, bro.
Peaceful people. Yeah, you can always find me on Mind on Football Fans podcast. Um, Currently we're on a break right now, but please go back, listen to our previous episodes. Wherever I hear a podcast, we're there. We'll be back first week of April. Check us out, recouping. You know, check us out. We love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys there.
Absolutely, absolutely. As always, guys, it's been awesome talking to you guys for about an hour, and we cannot wait to talk more basketball, guys. More basketball with you guys next week. I cannot speak right now. Have a great week,
Yes,
guys.
sir.